Okay, we're going to do Unit 1, Lesson 5. We're going to talk about angle bisectors and perpendicular lines here. Whenever you see two lines that are drawn, that are intended to be drawn parallel, you might see these little arrows on them, and that means it was intended to be drawn parallel. And if here we have line A and line B, I could indicate that they're parallel by putting two lines like this. Notice I use lowercase letters when I'm referring to a line. Here I've got line D and line C, and if they're intended to be perpendicular, you can put the little square there, and that means you intended to draw it at a 90-degree angle. Now, we've drawn this type of drawing before, and I'm going to show what happens if I've got a circle, and from the center of the circle, I'm going to draw an identical circle with the same radius. And so now I have two circles exactly the same size. And this is the center of each circle here. And I'm going to just label this center A and this center B. And I'm going to label this, the intersection right there, I'm going to label that E. And I'm going to label this intersection F. Okay, so if I was to draw a line from A to E, and E to B, and A to F, and F to B, well, we know that from E to A, that is the radius of that circle, and E to B is the radius of that circle. So we know that those are the same length, so we could say that they are congruent. And as I said, congruent means the same size length, and later we're also going to be talking about the same size angle. And whenever you see this symbol, this means same length. So they're the same length. Now, A to F and F to B are also the same length. In fact, they're the same length as the purple line, so I can put a single line on each one, indicating that they're all the same length. And if I was to draw a line between A and B and E to F, we would have these red lines drawn, and they would make a 90-degree angle. If you need to hit pause, please do, and copy this down. Okay, now we're going to do something. We're going to construct a perpendicular line through point C. So before we can do this, we need to draw an arc connecting with centered C, and we're going to draw it with a particular radius. Now, the reason I did this is I needed a point on either side of C that was the same distance from the center. Now, I'm going to draw an arch, but if I drew an arch from this point with the same radius and this, I need it to intersect at two places so that I can get a perpendicular line. So I'm going to erase what I just did, because I need an arch that's bigger. So let's find an arch that's bigger. There's one arch, and there's another arch, and where these 2 points intersect, I can draw a line, and now I've just drawn a perpendicular line. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to construct an angle bisector. So I'm going to call this point right there B, and this is the center of the angle, and we can say that point B is the vertex, which is where the center of the angle starts. Now, if I draw an arch from point B, this will get me 2 points that are an equal distance away from B. So I'm going to label this one A, I'm going to label this one C, and so now we have angle ABC. And it's important that we always have the vertex be the center letter of an angle when we're writing it. And this little picture here means we've got an angle. Okay? So we have angle ABC, and now at this point I need to draw an arch centered at A, and I can draw an arch centered at B, and these arches are the same distance away from A and C because it's the same radius, and by doing that, now I can draw a line that connects this new point. I'm going to call this point D, and if I draw a line from B to D, I have just cut this line, the angle, in half. So we can say that line BD bisects angle ABC. Something also important to mention is I could call this angle ABC, or I could call this angle CBA. These are the same as long as our vertex B is in the center. Please take careful notes, hit pause, and replay it as many times as you need.